This is the first ever ASMR video I've ever made. I said ever twice. Oops. I'm not going to introduce myself because my name is in my bio, although it is a terrible bio. And I did not link my social media because, I don't know, I would like to keep my face private at the beginning, I suppose. This is where I work. I put tape over it to be silly. You can kind of see through the tape anyway, but you can't say I didn't try. I don't exactly know what to do for these first videos. So I'm probably just going to do like a show and tell type thing. I fly. I'm a pilot. But I do have other interests outside of just flying. I cook, I bake, I build things. I've recently gotten into film photography. I'm not good at it by any means. I literally have a camera and film. I went back to my hometown and I got my dad's old film camera. I have it here. I'm definitely not going to click the shutter. One, because I don't want to waste film, and two, because it will be very loud in the microphone. But you can see there is no screen. It is a film camera. There are 11 exposures left on it. And it does have batteries in it, so it autofocuses, which is great, because like I said, I by no means know how to use this. So I will leave it here. And then I have some film on my desk. This is an open box. I don't know if I should do the little tippity tap noises. I know that's a basic sound that everyone uses, so I might as well include it. This is the brand. I don't know if it matters. I literally got it from China. I ordered it on AliExpress. Here's a roll that I've used, so it will actually be in the box still. Here's the film. There is no risk of it being damaged or exposed because when this camera finishes it, it sucks all the film or rolls it back inside of the roll. So this is the roll. There's no film hanging out. But you can see this other roll that I have. Yeah, that doesn't make noise. I will pop that away. This other roll that I have is black and white film. If I can get it open. This one does have film hanging out, but it has not been used. And this film does not have a date on it, but it was with a bag of film that I had found in an old photo box, and I took it to get developed. It was an astronomical $208 to do that, by the way. But those film rolls ranged from, I'd say, 24, because some of them were from before I was born, 24 years old or less. So I would assume that roll is around that age as well. More on the camera subject, I will put this one down. I ordered some on the website is bai.jp, so it's a Japanese auction proxy site. And some of the cameras that I received, this will be one of them. The problem with this one is the selenium. Doesn't make any noise. The selenium sensor here no longer works. So this one was a bust. Fortunately, I won the auction for, I think it was like $7. But it does make a very nice click. How do you open this one? I believe it's here. I didn't mean to make that much noise. I don't know, you might want to see the shutter flash in front. You couldn't really see it, but anyway, this is just one of the cameras that I got. I have a battery adapter coming to test out one of the cameras, but these other three are they're not going to work. I know you can see my face. This one I kind of had high hopes for because I love the way it looks. And it has more features on it. And I believe this one had a pretty nice shutter sound as well. But as you can see, this one also has a selenium sensor on it, and it also no longer works. So this camera was also a bust, which I suppose worked out because it's missing one of the levers here to adjust the film ISO. Fortunately, it's stuck on 400, which is the film that I have. But if I wanted to use the 800 film that I also have, I wouldn't be able to adjust it. So this was a good and bad thing that it didn't work. Let's see. Next we have this one. This one is smaller. I was really hoping this one might work because it's nice and small and portable. This one has a little sensor, but it's not a selenium sensor. It uses a battery. But when you go into the battery door, it has a corroded battery in it. And I don't believe, because it's a mercury battery, I don't believe they make them anymore. They might make a replacement, but I couldn't find a manual for this camera. All of these vintage cameras I found a manual for, but this one I was unable to find one. But here's its noise. I don't think this one sounds as satisfying. I don't believe this camera is, or this microphone is stereo, so there won't be different noises. Trying to remember how to open this one. I think this one pops up like this as well. Yes. And some of them had like gross corrosion, or like the seals were peeling. So that's probably explains the battery corrosion. So I didn't really want to invest in getting a new battery, and the whole thing is corroded and falling apart. Should have unwrapped these beforehand. Now the last one, which is the one that I actually ordered the battery adapter for, because it also uses an old mercury battery, and mercury is very bad, so we're not going to track down an actual mercury battery. This one is another chunker. Huge. Here's where the battery goes. Here's the top. I don't think you'll be able to see the viewfinder. But here's the lens on this one. It also has a sensor. And then this one has a very nice shutter sound. Oop. Yeah, this one, I think this one's a winner. We'll see when the battery gets here. And I put a roll of film in there. Fortunately, because that film came from China, it wasn't terribly expensive. But film isn't exactly cheap either. I'm sorry if that's loud. I'm just trying to keep everything where it was. Now, before I get on to airplane stuff, that kind of crosses over into, well, I guess technically this is an airplane thing. It's a thing that I received in the mail today. Not like it randomly showed up, I ordered it. It is a GPS for the plane. Now my hope is to rent an airplane for pleasure, but that is a very expensive thing to do. So now the brand is Garmin. See, I don't really do the tab very well, so it is a vintage product. And when I pull one of the other items out of the box, you will see exactly how vintage it is. But this is it. I do not yet have batteries in it, and I don't want to go through the hassle of plugging it into the wall. But this is the GPS. Here's a little antenna that slides up. This is to navigate in the plane. But yes, I hope to be able to afford to rent a plane soon to actually use my plane GPS. And now for the item to show the age of this GPS. It is this. I'll give you one guess what's in this box. Or I guess this carton. It almost looks new. Time's up. It is a VHS tape. And I have no equipment whatsoever, no VCR, to actually watch this. However, I can read, so the manual, the book, does just fine for me. And then here's the sacred tape inside, the magnetic strip. Everything else is just cables and books and mounts inside of the box, so I won't show you that. Now, another thing that I have for flying, this case was gifted to me, and it was literally sitting in my room for, I want to say, years, maybe 2 years, year and a half, and I had no use for it, but I wanted to record some of my flights, which they are on YouTube. However, they're unlisted because we're scared of the FAA around here. I keep bumping the mic. I'm sorry, guys. So on top, we know how much I love satellites. This is a satellite communicator. So planes do have emergency locator transmitters, ELTs, inside of them, but this one will. There's an SOS button on the side. So if I crash and I'm conscious, I can press this button and it'll send a signal to the satellite for them to locate me. But the primary reason that I got this was for the messaging capabilities. So I can message people from the plane, because once you get at a certain altitude, your phone no longer has line of sight with the cell phone towers. But with this, I am always able to contact someone on the ground. There just so happen to be space in this package for that, right here on the top, so that's where I keep it. But what I really use it for is for my very old, if you can't tell, I like old vintage things that still do their job. My very old GoPro. It's a GoPro Hero 3 silver or something. This was an eBay purchase. And it came with all the mounts and everything, and the suction cup that I stick on the window. And then it records my flights. And then there's like a little micro USB in here. This cable cost almost as much as the GoPro itself. So I connect this end into the GoPro, and then this end goes into my headphone port in the plane. And then there's a USB-A on here. I don't know if you can see it right there. So I can charge the GoPro, because the batteries die extremely fast recording audio and video. So that's that. If you want, I can bore you to death with regulations for flying. I have the books on my shelf behind me. There. Right there. Those two. Those are regulations for flying. Terrible stuff. But they're there for a reason. They say the regulations are written in blood. But I also have my flight headset in my flight bag, but I also use it as my backpack for class. And then my iPad stays in there, and my medical, all my things that need to remain legal to fly. Now, finally, what I'll show you, I think finally, I don't really do all the hand movements and this stuff, or, well, that's probably too loud. Or I've seen people do like the battery thing. I just happen to have a battery on the desk. But as the description on or the bio, whatever, on my channel says, I am really just on here to yap, to talk and vent about my day. So I don't think I will be doing any of that unless someone requests it or just absolutely wants it. But I don't really think I have any of those trigger things here. I don't think I have the equipment or the supplies to satisfy those needs, but we'll see. I just have basically office supplies in my room, and then random stuff on the shelf or my desk. But now the final things that I'll show you are two huge things that I 3D printed. So I have a shelf, that shelf right there, has small things that I've 3D printed, but I have these two very large things behind me that couldn't possibly fit on the shelf. So the first one, which is the smaller of the two, is this Airbus A380. Now, one of the engines fell off. I'm not exactly sure how it fell off, because all it does is sit on a desk, on a table. So I just haven't gotten around to gluing it back on, but it goes here. You can see the other side has it as well. And it's got the landing gear. And then you can see the wings are poorly glued on, or at least this left one is. Now, as you can see, this one barely fits in frame, so I'm not exactly sure how I'll fit the other one, but we will try our best, or I will try my best. Now here we have Big Bertha, the queen of the skies, the Boeing 747. Never mind. So you can see back here it's discolored. So what had happened was I bought super glue at Walmart to connect these pieces. There's no way I could have printed this whole thing in one go. So to connect these pieces, I had super glue. I bought the super glue at Walmart, and so Walmart gave me a receipt. And when I was gluing this together, there was some overflow, some that squeezed out on that part. And so I used the receipt to try to wipe the excess off, and I didn't know receipts did not like super glue. And so it bled the thermal ink or whatever that it uses all over there. So I said that I would spray paint this white, but I never did. So it's just remained this way. But I mean, generally, I feel like this is very good, especially being how large this was and my first very large print like this. I'd say that this came out pretty well. Yeah. I didn't really plan an exit or an outro for this video. Oh, that was loud. So I think I'm just gonna have to say goodbye and good night, or at least good night for me. It's 7:25 here. But yeah, goodbye. We'll see how well this video does and whether or not I do this again or post them for the public again. Anyway, bye for the third or fourth time.